Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Alex Paul from InvestorStream, and I'll be your host today. Presenting for us this morning is Audeara Managing Director and CEO, Dr. James Fielding, who will discuss the company's operations for the June quarter. Please feel free to send in your questions via the chat platform, in the question pane in the GoToWebinar control panel, or simply email them to me at alex@investorstream.com.au. You can also download a copy of the presentation by navigating to the handouts pane in the control panel. Finally, a copy of the webinar will also be available on Audeara's website and social media platforms later today. But for now, I'd like to throw it over to James to kick things off for us. James, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Alex, and good morning, everyone. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us and hear our story that we're very excited to be sharing with you. So why don't we crack on, Alex? Let's get straight to slide 3, please. Audeara is a hearing health technology company driven by two complementary revenue streams that are underpinned by our core proprietary technology. On the Audeara side, we sell headphones and accessories in partnership with domestic and international audiology clinics. We have a very strong presence here in Australia, and since 2019, we've captured all major international groups and major independent clinic groups in Australia who are selling our products, and that has created partnerships on the international stage, and we're on the cusp of significant international expansion with the audiology clinic groups. On the AUA technology front, we provide white label product development and a strong licensing revenue model, which we're very excited to get more detail about as we move further into the presentation. But I thought we should start with a review of the most recently reported quarterly results. Thanks, Alex. So what we found on the back of a really fine-tuned business model that we've been establishing in Australia is that we've been able to achieve revenue growth and cost reductions over the same period, which is a testament to the strategy set forward by the board and the execution of our team on the ground. And we were excited to be seeing 23% year-on-year growth and 40% quarter-on-quarter, with an increase in revenue and cash receipts, which actually amounted to a 50% increase in our cash receipts year-on-year, which we're very proud of. These revenue and cash receipts are on the back of our established Australian wholesale clinic partners, our e-commerce channels that are primarily driven by the NDIS, the introduction of an engineering services model under the AUA technology business unit, and the introduction of some first orders from our international audiology clinic partners. What we achieved over the same period was a reduction in our fixed costs and our operating cash outflows, bringing those cash outflows down 40% quarter on quarter. That left us with $2.6 million in the bank and having us well capitalized to achieve our upcoming value milestones. On the Audeara side, with our audiology clinic focus over the last quarter, we saw introduction into the Austrian market alongside WS Audiology's Bloom clinics. We saw WS Audiology also launch us in their flagship store in the USA. We had inroads into the USA with continued action by Demont Hearing Life USA, as well as Demont also launching us in Hungary. So what we saw were two global clinic groups, WS Audiology and Demont AS, or the Demont Group, who launched us in two separate international countries, which we're really excited about as we believe it provides a strong opportunity moving forward to increase the strength and relevance of these partners to our bottom line. On the AUA technology front, we progressed our in-ear earbud product development, which is aligned with Clinico Inc., Taiwan's largest hearing aid retailer, the CEO of this company, who had recently provided strategic investment at a 20% premium in December. We have also been progressing very strongly with our leading music instrument company, for whom we are about to engage on our large first product manufacture, which we anticipate in the coming months. Next slide, please, Alex. And what that has led to is a diversifying of our revenue streams to provide additional opportunities for growth as we move forward. When we listed on the ASX, we had a strong wholesale focus in Australia with the addition of a retail contribution. And what we've seen is the growth in both of those core elements. But what we're really excited about is the addition of this diversified revenue stream into the international audiology markets and AUA technology, which has commenced with engineering services and will be moving into a licensing and contract manufacturing phase, which provides an incredibly strong opportunity to be leveraging off the go-to-market capability of established third-party brands promoting our technology in their products. So as they increase order volumes, we increase the revenue and the profitability without the outputs. So obviously that scalable growth is something we're very excited about. Next slide, please, Alex. I'd like to focus on the Audeara side of the business now, highlighting what is underpinning the core of our revenue and the core of that consistent year-on-year growth, and that is our personalization technology. What this means is we are providing a tailored sound solution based on the hearing needs of each individual listener. Normal headphones provide normal sound for people with normal hearing. If you know you don't have normal hearing, maybe your right ear is different from your left, maybe you've been impacted by age, by the industry you worked in, by an illness, and you know that you have a very distinct individual hearing profile, we can provide a full and rich listening experience to allow people to fully connect with the experiences that bring them joy. And what we did, having harnessed that technology, is really fine-tune where we were going to capture an audience and establish our foundation for growth. And that is alongside audiology clinics, because people are walking into an audiology clinic thinking about their hearing and actively looking for solutions. And we separate our primary end user into two core areas. People who know that they have a hearing loss and they're walking into an audiology clinic, they're not quite ready for a hearing aid, but they need a solution. We are a great option for them. There is also people who have hearing aids, cochlear implants, other hearing devices, and they know that they can get a better entertainment and joyful experience by adding us onto the existing technology. So that means we are on the way to, or as well as, hearing devices, never instead of. And that makes us a great complement in the business model of our core revenue stream, which is audiology clinics. Next slide, please, mate. And the reason we are a great value add in these audiology clinics is that the nature of their business model is primarily focused on providing the well-established hearing devices, be that hearing aids or cochlear implant support. And as a result of that, a number of these businesses aren't fully satisfying the needs of their customers who are walking through the door, and a large amount of them are leaving empty-handed. So we've established systems where everyone leaves with a solution. And what that does for the clinic is it offers an additional revenue stream. It increases their customer conversion rates and really fundamentally increases the lifetime value of the customers walking through their doors, because the average time from being aware of having a hearing loss to actually doing something about it is around 10 years. So the earlier in that journey we can establish a positive connection with a customer, the better it is for the clinic's bottom line. Why the clinics are really valuable to us is that they are the gatekeepers of the government funding in the Australian wholesale model. Our products are eligible for full government reimbursement through the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Hearing Services Program, in which a recipient of either DVA funding or HSP funding can attend a clinic, and if our product helps them meet their hearing goals, they receive our headphones with zero out-of-pocket expense, which is obviously a great opportunity for us and has been underpinning that year-on-year growth that we've seen. As well as the clinic partnerships, we are also registered with the National Disability Insurance Scheme, which is more directed at our online sales for people who have self-directed funding. Next slide, please, Alex. Taking a bit of a wider lens at the growth opportunities and the audiology industry in general, what you see is a handful of multi-billion-dollar organizations that control around 80% of the traditional hearing health retail market. And Australia is a really strong microcosm of this market, with all global brands and retailers well represented here. That's underpinned by our government support and the quality of our education system for the audiology industry. Now, we've created really strong partnerships with each of these large global audiology partners in Australia, and on the back of that strength of relationship here, we've created opportunities to become part of their retail network on the global scene, which is seen with WSA, which is seen with the Demont Group, and which is seen with the execution of our supply agreement, global tender, with Amplifon, which we're very excited about and we're bringing forward as fast as we're able. The other area of the audiology industry, which is becoming incredibly exciting, is the introduction of optical retailers like Specsavers, as well as traditional big box retailers who have specific audiology product offerings. And this is just starting up. We announced our relationship with Specsavers last year, but they have a very strong focus to be introducing audiology services alongside all of their optical service chains. And why that's a great opportunity is because the average age of a person walking into an optical chain is 45, as opposed to 70 when you're looking at audiology clinics. So the earlier in that life cycle that you can be offering a hearing-based solution, the more chances you have for that consistent client engagement and increased lifetime value. So we're very excited about that. By positioning ourselves as a preferred assistive listening device or entertainment technology device in the audiology space, as new players enter that space, provide a streamlined opportunity to add them to our retailer network and get that growth. Next slide, please, mate. So what we've been able to do on the back of that alignment with the international expansion is capture the Australian market, growing to 400 clinics stocking our product as a core revenue. We've kicked off sales in Taiwan alongside the largest audiology clinic chain in Taiwan. The foundation of that relationship is the AUA technology product being developed specifically for those clinics and for that market. In Americas, we kicked off with Demont, WSA, but the next big catalyst for us is the introduction of our product throughout the European audiology industry, which is underpinned by our relationship with Amplifon and launching into Amplifon territories alongside the smaller retail footprints of WSA and Demont. We're very excited about the capacity that this international growth can have on our bottom line. Next slide, please, mate. I'd like to move on now to providing additional clarity around AUA technology as a business unit, the opportunities we've created that we're actioning now, and the opportunities that that will lead to in the future. AUA technology is the business unit that we established that at its core is utilizing our R&D capabilities, our world-class engineers, and our IP portfolio that have traditionally been providing the high-quality offering under the Audeara brand and launching our Audeara product pipeline. What we've established over the last 6 months is a strong third-party product development and technology licensing opportunity. The first of which was a music instrument brand that we are developing product and technology for. and then our strategic investment from Clinico around a product development. But what this shows is our capacity to utilize our technology and effectively work with third-party brands to bring product to market under the strength of those brands. And once these cornerstone products that we're developing now are in market, it will lead to that proof of principle and the addition of the further opportunities that are in our pipeline. Next slide, please, mate. So the first one is our relationship with the CEO of Clinico Inc., who became our largest investor and a cornerstone strategic investor in December of last year, investing $2.8 million at a 20% premium to that market price to focus on product development that meets the needs of his clinic network in Taiwan and China. And we are developing that product alongside their clinics with the view to Taiwan and China being exclusively distributed through Clinico Inc., the strongest partner in that region. Something that we're incredibly excited about and something that I believe provides great confidence having a strategic industry partner like Clinico, like David Lin, the CEO who invested in our company, having that streamlined path to market and the confidence in our product development capabilities. Next slide, please, mate. The second is our global music instrument brand partnership, where we have an engineering services revenue model that has been actively contributing to our revenue as we have been developing product to meet their needs. But what we're really excited about is the transition from product development into large-scale production and market release, which is anticipated to be in H1 of this financial year. And what that means is not only do we have the high volume contract manufacturing side, but we have the licensing side in that. So the more product they order from us, the better our margins, the higher our productivity and our profitability on the side of their go-to-market. And that's something that is very different from how we've traditionally been running the Audeara model, which is on the back of our firepower and our sales team going out, finding clinic partners and providing product into those areas. This is a highly scalable license model where the use of our capability and technology is being put into third-party brands, and the more they order, the better our bottom line. Next slide, please, mate. And this leads to a very strong and robust product pipeline being developed by AUA technology, with the core of our Audeara technology continuing to progress, continuing to be elevated, continuing to meet the needs of our audiology clinic partners to increase that revenue, as well as the addition of our AUA technology product lines in the global music instrument brand and our healthy hearing earbuds coming to market. And this really creates those additional opportunities, those additional revenue streams, which can increase revenue stage by stage to get us that growth that we're actively seeking. So what we've seen on the quarter to date is a record quarter driven by our Australian wholesale team, the strengthening of our relationships with WS Audiology and the Dumont Group, and the progression of our AUA technology partnerships heading towards a significant contribution in this current financial year. What we're looking for over the financial year is the introduction of our product into the European market, the expansion alongside those core partners in the US market, our first purchase order from our global music instrument brand, and the release of our healthy hearing earbuds. And those things, we believe, can be contributing significantly above the line. And if we're maintaining our cost structures as we have now with really great rigor and discipline, we believe that leaves us on a very strong footing moving forward. Thank you so much, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, James. Look, we have had a couple of questions come through. So firstly, you mentioned just briefly there that there has been a considerable reduction in costs recently. Can you provide a more detailed outline of where this has come from, and when do you estimate Audeara will produce its first quarter of positive cash flow?
So focusing first on the cost reductions, where we knew that we had to be making changes on the back of where we were as a company and in anticipation of the opportunities we have ahead of us, the focus was on fixed cost reduction. So that was a reduction in the number of staff members, some salary reductions, and also a great contribution from our board of directors who reduced their directors' fees alongside the rest of the company. So there was a great sign of solidarity. The team is really, aware of what we're doing and focusing on that moving forward. There was also a reduction in our marketing expenditures, and essentially across the board, people are finding those opportunities to be really streamlining. I think being able to implement those while achieving the record revenues is something that the company should be very proud of. With regards to the cash flow positive quarters, the addition of the revenue streams from our international activities as well as our AUA technology activities, if we can be adding those revenue pillars above the line and we can maintain that discipline below, we feel very confident that with those elements added in, we're heading towards that positive cash flow and profitability.
So James, can you just provide any overview on your launch strategy for the in-ear products?
Mm-hmm. So the underpinning of the in-ear product will be alongside Clinico in that Taiwanese market. There was a very firm commitment we made to be focusing there and getting those learnings. But once we have that product established, it provides an additional revenue opportunity alongside our additional product range throughout our international networks. We also believe that it will have an increased impact on our direct-to-consumer and other healthy hearing partnerships. In-ear product is an incredibly popular way of listening to music and communicating at the moment, and having a product that is backed by our audiology clinic partners, we believe puts us on a strong foot forward. So step one, Taiwan. Step two, our audiology partners. Step three, our e-commerce channels.
So the company has dipped its toes into the NDIS previously. Does this remain a focus, and how will additional sales be pursued through this platform?
Yeah, so the NDIS is the core of our e-commerce channel. And yes, I think dipping toes is an adequate term. We've been very focused on the audiology clinic industry. We have engaged additional marketing support with a focus on that NDIS channel. So activities driven by us on the e-commerce channel. What we've built over the last 12 months as well is an established connection with already high-performing NDIS service providers. So we'll continue to be pushing the e-commerce, but what we're hoping to achieve is that B2B scalable growth like we have with the clinics, but utilising NDIS partnerships. And as we increase the amount of NDIS partnerships, we'll be increasing that contribution under the NDIS.
Have you had any repeat sales from your overseas operations, or have they just been the initial purchase orders today?
With the timing of them, they've been initial with our US-based groups. We have had repeat sales from Austria, which is good, and Demont launched a couple of weeks ago. So nothing back from them yet, but we're excited about them coming through.
How much of a revenue generator do you think Audeara's AutoAssist software could become, the desktop app for clinics?
That's nice. I quite like talking about AutoAssist. So AutoAssist is our platform which allows clinics to be programming and personalizing headphones for their clients. And the reason we built this software was because of the target demographic of people who are attending audiology clinics not being as tech confident, as well as NDIS. There may also be a lack of capacity to be performing a self-directed hearing check. So by utilizing an existing hearing profile, the clinic is able to offer that solution to their client. And that has in fact been one of the cornerstones of the growth we've seen in the wholesale market, because it allows the clinics to be capturing a wider range of people and providing that value for them. So we definitely see it as already have been contributing to that revenue, and it is also a great touch point as we grow and increase engagement with the clinics on an international level. So we think it'll be driving a lot of that growth because it's a way of us proving a connection with the clinics. We create great hardware, now we're creating great software that they can use in their business. So it strengthens that opportunity.
Thanks, James. A couple more questions. You mentioned a defined business model under the AUA technology banner. Can you just give us more of a breakdown of how this would look in regards to a potential customer?
Sure. So what we've already received the revenue from is our engineering services. And that is a very clean, we will build you a device and we will charge you this amount of money for it. That is time for service. That is phase one. The second is the contract manufacturing and licensing arm, whereby we are providing the project management, the design services, the quality assurance, and our technology implementation, so that when the third-party brand places a purchase order, they're placing that purchase order to us, and we are executing on delivery of that product for them. And then we're taking our clip of the ticket, and as their sales increases, so is the impact of that clip. And as that scale goes up, that clip is essentially going straight to the bottom line.
Now, we mentioned the considerable reduction in costs at the top of the Q&A. Now, to what extent is your tight management of costs constraining your revenue growth rate?
I think that what we've seen is the tightening up of that expenditure being really quite important, because it's allowing us to be in the best possible position to be delivering on the really high impact opportunities that we have coming up over the next 6 months. So we believe those cost cuts are not in fact restraining. We believe that they are providing appropriate focus on the things we need to do to be getting the best outcomes.
Thanks, James. And just finally, you mentioned your milestones and targets for 2023, 2024 in your final slide. Can you just recap the key value drivers that will help you achieve those targets? And I guess what should we be keeping an eye out for over the next 6 months?
Sure. So under the Audeara brand, it's that impact from European sales and operation, much larger market, each country being roughly equivalent to Australia, and there's a large number of countries. So Europe sales is a great milestone for us and a great value add. First purchase orders being received under our AUA technology plans are the real key there. So with the music instrument brand, and then with the earbuds, getting those first high volume product runs away is going to be a real catalyst.
Fantastic. Well, look, that's all the time we have today. Thank you all for joining me, and I'd also like to thank James for presenting and taking the time to answer some questions. As I mentioned before, a recording of the webinar will be on Audeara's website and social media platforms later today. James, before I let you go, did you have any final comments to leave with us today?
No, we're feeling really strong in our position at the moment. We've made some appropriate sacrifice and gotten things where they need to be, and we're feeling really confident about how the future's looking.
Fantastic. Well, that wraps it up for us here. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.